I'm pretty sure those navel gazers on TV get paid a commission every time they say it's a quarterback-driven league. Tell that to the linemen who are getting their knees destroyed so Pretty Boy can have a clean pocket. Without them, he's just an overpaid statue with nice hair. I'm here to tell you they're wrong, and we've got the data to prove it. We went deep on the numbers here, putting hundreds of players and thousands of snaps over the last 3 seasons to figure out who is driving a team's success. We're using Pro Football Focus player ratings here, with a weighted average for each player based on the number of snaps they played each season, to determine the correlation between a position's performance and the number of wins in a season. I went with Pro Football Focus because it isolates a player's individual performance from what the rest of the team is doing. For example, a mediocre receiver can hit 1,000 yards if he's got a stud tossing the rock. A terrible safety can have great numbers if his D-line is putting the quarterback on his ass every second play. We want to separate the player from the team for this analysis. After typing in Excel until my fucking fingers bled and making some scatter plots, we got the results. Yes, it was exactly as much work as it sounds. And no, I do not expect you to be grateful. I can almost guarantee you that you have a misconception about who is most important, and you're going to want to stick around until the end to see why. Now, YouTube analytics tells me you window lickers have the attention span of a Cocker Spaniel, so we better put up something shiny to look at. Roll slide. The first thing to note is that every position has a positive correlation with team success. I know that was a lot of syllables for the millennials in the audience, so, in simple terms, every position statistically matters, just some more so than others. We're starting with the position that has the lowest correlation, the running back. Unfortunately for these guys, there's a reason they're the lowest paid position in professional football. And no, punters do not count. A fairly weak R-squared of 0.114 means only about 11% of the difference between the win count of 2 teams can be attributed to the running back. Coaches treat these guys like a rental car. Run them hard, rack up the miles, and then dump them at the end of the lease with blown knees and a compressed spine. But you can always throw in a younger one and keep yelling culture. Unfortunately, with numbers like this, that's never going to change. This one may surprise you. I know it did me. The D-line comes in next with an R-squared of 0.167. Significantly more than the running back, but that's a bit like winning the participation ribbon. The NFL types especially love their rush ends. Well, NFL fans are proof that evolution can go in reverse. They work all week so they can spend the weekends voluntarily standing in the rain, cheering for millionaires who hate them. We can safely discount their opinions on most matters, including this one. The D-line matters, just not as much as you may think. Next slide. Next, we move into the linebackers. Modern linebackers are supposed to stop the run, cover slots, and rush the passer. That's not a position. That's 3 guys from my era who specialized and lasted longer than 5 seasons. They call these guys the heart of the defense. More like the expendable meat shields who get their brains scrambled so the secondary can look good on the highlight reel. Anyways, we've moved into an R-squared value of 0.172. Valuable, hard to replace, usually locker room leaders, but they're not going to make or break a team's season. You're going to want to sit down now. Take a deep breath. Try not to engage your caps lock when commenting. Here we go. The next one on the list is the quarterback. Coming in at 0.212. There's no question that they matter. They matter a lot. They matter because it's one player that affects the game more than the entire D-line. That's one player that theoretically explains 21% of the difference in wins and losses between 2 teams. That's impressive for certain. But new and casual fans tend to put about 80% of the success or failure of a team on the quarterback, and they are just wrong. Of course, 6 months later, those new fans will try to impress me by parroting that the real battle is won in the trenches. Son, the only battle is between my hypertension and your recycled barstool analysis. The trenches is where the big boys get paid to maul each other while you sip $12 Pilsner and act enlightened. So, let's talk about the trenches next. We've got a big jump here. The O-line sees at R squared value of 0.350. Now we're in true make or break territory. You want to improve your team? The O-line is always a solid bet. Despite this, nobody knows their name until they get called for holding. No highlights, no brand deals, no glory. Just a lifetime of Advil and regret. The position where the highest compliment is, he's a lunch pail guy. Translation, he's reliable and we pay him just enough that he won't quit before his knees explode. And yes, in case you're wondering, Jermarcus Hardrick is even better than you realize. How many interviews did he do after winning the Grey Cup? Crickets. Next up, we've got the only group of players who can occasionally eclipse the blinding fucking supernova of attention that is the quarterback. The pouting prima donnas of the post route. The receivers. They spend the whole prep week crying to the OC about target share, and then game day hits and they drop a 5-yard slant on second and medium. And asking them to block is the football equivalent of asking Kim Kardashian to do manual labor. Possible in theory, hilarious and ineffective in practice. The rare times a receiver actually does throw a block, the intellectuals in the broadcast booth act like he just cured cancer. Anyways, the stats show that the teams need these guys to win football games, so we are stuck with them. Next. The single most important group of athletes on the team for winning football games is the secondary. And it ain't even close. You're reading that correct. 0.535. You thought your team was just filling a ratio spot with that French-Canadian safety, didn't you? Modern secondary needs to be able to blitz, run stop, and then chase a fucking gazelle for 80 yards on 2nd and 5. Shut down the star receiver for 3.5 quarters and nobody gives a shit. But if it just so happens that your jersey was closest to him when he blows past your cover 0 for the game-winning touchdown, everyone's suddenly yelling you should be sold for scrap parts. Never mind that your team put up 180 yards of offense and your long snapper touched the ball more than the running back. There it is. The actual numbers. Not the hot takes from the media. Just remember, though, that sports journalists are like pigeons. They strut around like they own the place, crap on everything, and then think they're brilliant for shitting in the same place twice. Now fuck off.